it is time. I'm going to be straightening my head for the first time with dyed hair ever because I've never seen it straight. Well, at least in this color. So I got highlights almost a month ago and we're gonna see how it goes. I need to look at the camera. We're gonna see how this goes. Hopefully I don't look like a freaking mess. I know I'm not. I had straight hair before, but I'm so used to having it like this that I'm like, I miss you. But I'm going to make sure that my hair is protected because that's what we do as curl girls. We make sure our hair is protected so we don't gotta deal with hair damage. So I have my products out here now. Oh, this is almost empty. Not Your Mother's All Eyes on Me 10-in-1 hair protector. Yep. So I'm gonna spray this around my head in parts, of course, and I'm using Argan oil of Morocco, a Morocco penetrating oil, because this, I've noticed since I've been straightening my hair over the years that this helps with my hair. So let's do it. Make sure I get them ends, girl. And what I love about this product is it smells so good. Okay, so this is my head brushed out. Now it's time for the oil. I like to get it in the most dry spots ever and at the ends of my hair. Because those are the most important parts. And the scalp, of course, but that comes at the end. Okay, part one is done. And what I love about this oil is that it keeps my hair smelling super good. And it's not so heavy. Because when I shave my hair, I don't want it to be oily. And it helps with that. Okay, but isn't this hairstyle so cute? This time is blood. Now I don't want to fry my head, so I'm not gonna go to the highest volume, but it's on 419. What I like about this too is it heats up super fast. Okay, here we go. Oh shoot. I'm so excited. Okay, part 2. Now, when I did get my hair dyed, which is a crazy story, it's actually pretty funny. But I will have a story time for that if you guys are interested. But when I got my hair cut, she cut it a little bit short, but I mean health over length, so I'm not even tripping. But just know that it's not gonna be at its longest, and I'm sorry, but that'll do. Let's do a story time. So, when I was 6 years old, was it 6? I was 5 or 6. I was in kindergarten, my first day of school. And I had just finished my first day and I had to take the bus home. Mind you, I'd never taken the bus a day in my life of my 5 years of living. So I had this letter on my ID name, and I had this letter on my ID name and it told me what bus I had to take when school was over. I was outside of the buses and I didn't really know which one to go on at the time. I don't know why. I think it's because my teacher at the time was making sure we got on the right buses. So she was monitoring all of us, making sure we were getting on the right buses. So because of that reason, there were so many of us little kindergartners running around everywhere, being kindergartners, and she just puts me on this bus, and I didn't really realize what bus it was, but I didn't really care. I just thought she knew what she was doing. Like, I didn't really notice what letter the bus was labeled. I go on the bus and I noticed that there are bigger kids on there, and I'm like, what the heck? So I'm like, dang, these are some big kids. Am I even supposed to be on this bus? But I was just like, maybe they're living in the same neighborhood as me or something. So I'm just chilling in the back of the bus, my little lunchbox next to me, and I'm looking at the window because I love looking at the window view. And then I notice that like kids are jumping off and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't even know what stop I'm supposed to get off of. I didn't really know where my house was or how to get there. I just knew what my house looked like. So I was like, well, I'll just wait until the bus driver tells me to get off, because nobody told me how the buses work. I'm just waiting, and then a couple hours pass by and I'm like, dang, I'm still on this bus. So I was just like, on the next stop, I'm just gonna get off. When he finally stops, I get off the bus and it drops me off at this college. I'm like, and then he drives. I didn't know what college this was. I didn't know where I was at. I didn't even know it was a college at the time. I do now. I'm by myself. I'm crying. I'm like, nobody's gonna help me. I'm stuck here forever. And everyone was just passing by me, and I'm like, do you not see me over here? This one lady, she comes up to me and she's like, are you lost? And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, duh. So I was like, yeah. And then she's like, okay, come with me. Now in that moment, that was a very dumb moment, but it saved me. But it was very dumb because she could have been a kidnapper. But she wasn't. Thankfully, she wasn't. So I was just like, hopefully she knows who my parents are and she could take me home. She ends up leading me to this office of some sort. I had never been in this area, so I didn't even know what building she was taking me to. If anything, she could have took me to a room to kill me, for all I know. But as a 5-year-old, I wasn't thinking like that. Wasn't sure, so I just took the chance and I went for it. And she took me to this room and there was a different lady. She was like, okay, just wait here and this lady can help you. So I was like, okay. I sat down and I'm just here waiting. I have tears all over my eyes and I'm just like, just so sad because I'm like, where the heck am I? So the lady in the desk, she's like, okay, she starts asking me these questions. Don't really remember the questions, but I know she was just asking me questions like, what is your grandma's name? What is your dad's name? Do you know what your house looks like? Just little stuff like that. I'm like, okay, let me see if she'll actually end up finding my grandma. Because at the time, I was with my grandma and I just wanted to see my grandma so she can take me home. Like 30 minutes later, one of my grandma's sisters comes, one of my aunts comes, and I'm like, I don't want you. I don't want you to pick me up. I was such a brat. I was like, no, I don't want to go home with her. I'm not going home with you. Get my grandma. So I was crying and telling her to get my grandma because I don't want nobody else picking me up but my grandma. I feel like that's where my trust issues came about, because there's no way that a 5-year-old can sit there and tell somebody that they want a specific person to pick them up. But that's what I did, and another 30 minutes passed by. It was about homework time at that point. Like, I should have been home and finished my homework. That's how long it took for somebody to pick me up. So then my grandma finally arrived and I'm like, thank God! I'm like, yes! Finally you picked me up. And I said, I'm never taking a bus again. And I never took a bus again. If it was a field trip, I was on the window side, looked at everything. I made sure I knew exactly where I was going. And just this last year, because I'm a sophomore in college, my freshman year of college was the first time I ever took a public bus ever. Other than that, never took a bus from kindergarten all the way to my freshman year of college. But I hope that story time was good for y'all. So this is my head. Let me see if I can stand up for y'all and y'all can see my head. So, what do you guys think? I really like it.